We can't hear the music.
And my fingers, oh my, sometimes I touch the rest of the days, oh my, turning red, who could this be? There goes my shirt over my head. Oh my, there goes my skirt up into my feet.
All right now. Time to get this thing started. Let me put this recording. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the merry month of masturbation. Okay. Can we just get a quick round of applause for the month of masturbation out here? Now, we always think about what's the best way to celebrate this glorious time of year. Because for us, y'all know this is a holiday. This is kind of like how we have Black History Month and Women's History Month and all these different things. Well, Masturbation Month is the holiday for us over here at Bedroom Candy. So you know that we had to have a lot of fun coming to celebrate it with you guys. So first, I want to welcome you all and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kasha Johnson. I'm a master trainer here at Bedroom Candy, a board certified clinical sexologist, and I've been in this industry for 11 years. And so you got to imagine I like talking about sex a lot, right? But tonight we want to go a little bit deeper than the surface, and that we not only want to give you tips to improve your masturbation situations, but we also want to help you with a guide and how to choose your essentials and your tools that might go along with it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I plan on poking the bear with our co-host tonight, because I got some real personal questions. I plan to get all in their business for all of you. So thank me later, because it is all in the spirit of getting the answers that y'all need. But it's just an open discussion, because sometimes when it comes to stuff like this, it's not your everyday talk. It's not what you're talking about every day, but you realize that there's so much to learn as you do. Okay. So to kind of kick things off, right, you will all receive access to a beautiful guidebook. Our consultants, we've already went into the BK Kids app under our PDFs, where you guys receive all of our resources and added a guide for tonight's event that was made just for today, but is going to live far longer than now. And this guide is going to help you understand the body. It's going to help you understand different tools and techniques for masturbation. And this isn't just for women, we're talking men and women. And it's going to help you with a guide that will help you choose the toys that are perfect for you. Now, we'll go through that a little bit later on as we go through the event. And to kind of give you a little bit of a outline, we'll start with kind of having more conversations about that anatomy. We'll go into some conversations around some tips and tricks, and then we'll take it from the tips and tricks straight to get into it. We're going to show you all of the masturbation tools that you might want to consider to enhance that time. Now, in order to do this, I absolutely couldn't do it alone. Okay, I needed a little bit of help, because when we're talking about these kind of subjects, we want to hear from different people, because you know how it is, y'all. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different experience. Some will love a toy, some will hate a toy. And sometimes when you don't hear someone speaking about a certain product with all that enthusiasm, people might think that it's because it's not great, but it's just not for them, right? People naturally get hype about the things that are for them. So in order to help you really understand how much this can vary, how much this can change, I need some co-hosts. Now, I dug into the pot of Bedroom Candy's best to bring for you tonight. All right, we got some really amazing folks in this community. But tonight, we're going to bring to the virtual stage 3 leaders from our community who have such a vast experience speaking on the subject, because not only are they top performers, but they represent leadership here at Bedroom Candy. Now, first and foremost, bringing to the stage. To you guys, Lady D. For me, it's LaDonya. But I gotta bring my good sister to the stage, our CAC leader, who is not only somebody who is a part of Bedroom Candy's everyday happening, helping to make the decisions that bring you all the goods. But one thing I know for sure, because this is not the first time I done shared a stage with this glorious woman, is that she don't hold back. She's gonna give you what it is, and she's gonna give it to you straight and real. What's gonna help you with you with your boo, your everything, right? So give it up, give it up for Lady D, LaDonya. All right, all right.
Hello.
Now this woman right here goes by Nurse WAP. Okay, that's what she called herself, Nurse WAP. All right, now this is also one of our amazing, glorious BK leaders in the community who is also a part of the day-to-day decisions and things like that that help make our products, our company, our everything so awesome. And Nurse WAP is coming to the stage to tell you how to get it wet, but also how to get it off today. Give it up for LaToya. Now, I said, we got to really mix it up. And so I reached into another leadership group that we have here at Bedroom Candy, and that is our Next Gen Leadership Group. Now, this represents the cream of the crop, the people who are coming in, up and coming ready to help be a part of our CAC, but are already doing the work, right? They are already helping other consultants. They are already helping not just their customers and folks that help benefit them, but those out there in the community. Our boss video winner, last year's convention, give it up, give it up, give it up for, now this woman got a couple titles. Hold on now, I gotta back it up. Cause she go by the love bar. She be like, your sexuality coach. I love what she says. Hold on. My sexuality coach, Miss Noni, bring it on up here. And bless us with that good energy. Now, I know this is not a makeup party, but I can't help but notice how good y'all look. We just need the colors, okay? Real quick, just let the people know what you got on the lips. What you got on the lips. I'm seeing a bare beat. I'm seeing something real racy and raw. I'm seeing subtle but sexy. Y'all know I'm gonna bring a little candy coated up in here too. What we got on, y'all?
I have on illicit liquid.
Okay.
I always gotta
The
come
lip
on with the
stain?
black. The lip, yes. Yes, the liquid.
You gonna get some head after this? Okay, just a question. I only ask that question, guys, because our lip stains won't wipe off. So it's that lip color that you can put on when you're about to do something nasty, but you ain't gonna worry about looking like a crazy clown after. So I had to poke at Noni. Love it, love it, love it. So we got our liquid, suede, illicit. What else we got going on?
Okay, I'll go. I'm representing a pretty powerful Miss Authentic Kid. This red is always good to put on a dick. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, what's the 7-Eleven? We just got started. Make a wish, or something, because it's apparently about to be one of those nights. Now, I am a pretty powerful through and true. It stays in my fanny pack. I love that color. It looks beautiful on you. Shout out, shout out. Now, Nurse WAP. Now, I know you kept it a little bit more toned down than the rest of us whores, apparently. But
I keep it simple with a little glaze. I just like a little shimmer, a little sparkle. That's all. Just be a little. I've been there.
She said she liked the red left on it. She said, I don't want no evidence left behind. Okay. I just need to still look a little shiny and can't be looking dry and messy outside of it. Okay, and so the color I am wearing, I actually lined our lips with one of our brown liners. I always forget the name of it, so forgive me. One of our brown lipstick liners, but the inner color that I'm wearing is Majestic, our suede Majestic lipstick. I tend to apply a darker layer of it on the outside and leave it a little lighter on the inside so it has more of a pink hue, and the brown helps the purple give some contrast to it. So that's what we do, little ombre. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Everybody looks great. Let's kick in the gear, y'all. Let's kick in the gear. Before I talk to anybody on this stage, okay, and anybody who's listening about any anatomy, any toy, anything, I got a question for the co-host. Y'all ready for me to get in y'all business? Y'all ready? A little bit? You don't know what I'm about to ask you, huh? Okay. The first question I have is, what is something about your vagina that you know now that you didn't know before you became a bedroom candy consultant? Okay. I'll give you, if you don't need no time, whatever, Noni, I see your finger going for that mute. Talk to me.
I didn't know the clitoris was 3.5 inches long.
Very good.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I only thought it was just a hood. I did not know it was 3.5 inches long, and was wondering why it was really feeling real good with penetration and or just playing and all of that. Yeah. So yes. So I'm so in that realm, I'm 4, because I found
Okay.
out 2020. So 4.
You're 4 years old knowing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so y'all are going to see a little bit more of a visual of what Noni's talking about. But what she's basically saying is most of us think that our clitoris just is on the outside. And what she was in for was that rude awakening when she found out how big that thing really was. Okay. Okay. Good one. Good one. What you got for me, Toya? What you got for me?
For me, right before I joined Bedroom Candy, I had a hysterectomy. So it was like a refurbished thing down there, you know. I was brand new. So it was like a learning process all over again. And I found like things that I used to could take prior to, I couldn't take anymore because it wasn't, it was a little more shallow.
You became less of a size queen. Less of
I
a size
shrunk a little
queen.
bit.
No, refurbished is the craziest thing I think I've heard so far. And we done said all kind of words. We said all kind of words already, but refurbished, that is
It
a
was,
brand. It's like every time you get it, something go, your vagina go through something. It's like you get your coochie starting over. Okay. Now the girls are gonna be using that to excuse that body count now. All right. You say how many bodies before I refurbish it or after? Um, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with y'all. Okay, refurbished. All right, because it works. Sometimes it worked better than it did before after you done got a little hand put on it and then got a little fine tune. Okay, tune up. All right, now what you got for me, Lady D?
So what I did not know prior to becoming a consultant is that my G spot is not revealed until I'm mentally stimulated. So I'm always trying to turn myself on so I can make sure I'm getting what I need. So I did not know that the G spot is not revealed until you are mentally stimulated. So we got to get our minds right.
I love that. I like the tone you put on when you said that too. You mentally stimulated me. We have a grown folk talk, y'all. This is not for children. I want to make this. I should make the point that if you are in a space watching this Zoom with children around, make sure you have headphones in your ears because the things that we discuss here are not for those ears. Okay. All right. Now that we said that, let's get back to the program. Mine, guys, my answer to that question is I did not know that the reason I didn't like penetrative toys is because I was using the wrong types of penetrative toys. I never liked them before. And it wasn't until I started playing around with different ones, and there's a particular one that changed my life. And I realized, oh, you just need them to be this. And then that makes it good. So we'll talk about that as we get into choosing your toys. But I didn't know that about my coochie. My coochie don't like all types, every material. Every material she rejects. Yours refurbished, mine's rejects. Recycle. We're gonna find a lot of R words, recycle. But ultimately that was mine. Okay, and then I got another question for you guys in a minute. But first, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to ask everybody to turn their eyes to the screen because I'm going to screen share something really quick because I could talk about some of this stuff, but it's really important for you guys to see it in order to truly understand it. And only this kind of lens right off of what you just shared. So let me start my screen share real quick. There we go. All right, everybody see that okay? Awesome. So what you guys are looking at is female anatomy. Don't worry, I'm not about to read all of these words in here. You can do that on your own time. But the reason why this is so important is because a lot of times people are choosing toys without really understanding their intended uses and then what other potential uses you can get out of it outside of what it's designed for. You'll find that our consultants get very creative with the products and figuring out different ways to enjoy them and getting the most bang for your buck. And the reason why this is so important is because These are products that are sensitive in nature. They don't come with refunds and things like that for the most part, because you can't give it away to someone else after you tried it and didn't like it. You also can't give it back after you tried it and didn't like it. It's a different type of use, okay? So you don't want to pick products that may not work. But in order to understand what works, you got to understand your body. So I'm going to give you a brief understanding of that from the female anatomy. Now, we've got two angles here on the screen that you see over here with the legs spread open for an external view. And then we have a side panel view for you to understand what's actually happening on the internal side. In order to help make this sense, I'm going to draw all over the screen, all kind of crazy. So just stay with me. But what we're talking about is a very complex organ, which is known as the vulva, right? The vagina, people say vagina a lot, but the vulva encompasses the entire organ, whereas vagina just represents one portion of the organ. So that's the distinction that you should understand there. Now, externally, what you see up top here, where you notice this looking like the, the pubic hairs or whatever the case is that area of the body is known as the mons pubis. A lot of people call it the fupa, right? For fat upper, you get the point, area, right? So this is going to be an area of the body that you tend to see pubic hair, but it's usually understimulated because most people don't pay much attention to it. What most people don't understand, and you'll see now, is if we were looking at the comparative of that area on the outside here, we're talking about something around this area about there. Can y'all see where I'm drawing? All right. So if this is the external area of the mons pubis, right? And right here is where we start to get into some body organs. The bladder, the vaginal canal is right here. And what people don't understand about the vaginal canal and opening is that once those sex organs start going and things start getting real swelled up and blood flow starts pumping, that the reason why you feel that pressure as you're gaining your arousal and building up or feeling like I have to pee is because a lot of times we're applying direct pressure against our bladder, which is resting right here in the middle. Right. So oftentimes as your vaginal fluids and your ejaculatory fluids are building up, you're feeling a pressure against it that mimics the same sensation of having to urinate. Right. So that's important to note. Now with that mons pubis, if you actually apply external pressure to it, with your hand, with a toy, with a vibrator, you'll find that it's a direct way to add some stimulation to the G-spot externally. Okay, without something having to go inside. So just putting your hand down and applying pressure while stimulating the clit allows you to stimulate two organs at one time. Okay. Now, the next thing you're seeing is the clitoral hood. And like Noni said, most people are only used to knowing what this one part of the clit looks like, the external portion of the clit. You have a hood of skin that covers the actual clitoris under it. Some folks have larger hoods than others. This is all vaginas are not made the same. So you might see some variations there. And you might also see some variations in the labia majora, which is the outer lips, right? The labia minora is the inner lips on the inside, but usually the labia majora is it's almost like a little protection sweater, right? And some people got longer sleeves than others, is all we're trying to say, right? So know that that's what that anatomy is encompassing there. Then you have the urethral opening. This right here is where where you pee. I'm sorry, where people think all the squirt is coming from, but that's where you're peeing, right? Versus the vaginal opening down here where you secrete your vaginal fluids. Right. So understanding what part of the body things are traveling through also helps you understand that your urethra and your vagina are connected in that they are adjacent, as you see here. So it's really, really easy for the two to confuse you. Okay. Now, the other part that we want to talk about is as we look at this side over here, once you place yourself inside the clitoris, and I have my little clitoral diagram always close by. So I'll show you really quick. Right on our clitoris diagram, this is the clitoris. So all of this is the stuff that Noni was saying that she never knew was there. She just used to know that was there, but then it's like this whole thing right back there. And outside of that, this goes into the vaginal walls. And what you're going to see with the clitoris here, and I'll show you back on screen now because I have some more descriptive words on there really quick, really quick, because we're going to learn this anatomy from the basis of sex, y'all. That's important. Now, you see over here, we have some diagrams of the clit. I'm going to try to zoom that in really quick for you guys so that it's a little bit more in your face. I didn't mean to put more vagina in your face, but you get the point. All right. Well, sometimes I mean to put more vagina in their face. Had to catch that statement. Hold on now. Don't let nobody catch no sound bite of me saying that out here. But I'm gonna put this diagram of vagina in your face. Let's put that out there. So with the clitoris, we have the glands, which is part that sticks out and under the hood that you are stimulating most commonly. Then we have over here these clitoral legs, the legs or stems of it, which is also called the corpus cavernosum, okay, of the clit, right? And then you have the bulbs of the vestibule or vestibular bulbs. You can call it, you can say it either way. Now, those right there are surrounding what you see right here is the vagina opening. Where's my little annotation? Where'd it go? There we go. So we got the vagina opening where things go inside, but the bulbs of the clit are surrounding the vagina. What do y'all think that means? Somebody in the chat, type it in. Let me know. I know you can't unmute, but what do you think that means if those bulbs is surrounding the vagina? Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute to answer that question while I go forward before I give you the answer, right? So if the bulbs are surrounding it with the stems, now these stems, if you look at the diagram above, you'll see with the exterior of the vagina, those stems can be stimulated through the lips of the vagina, okay? So now we got a little bit of understanding of that more on the external. What the internal is, once you enter the vagina, you notice that the canal of the vagina eventually curves. Once you get a little deep in there, you know, not everybody can hit them spots. You know what I mean? But they exist, right? But as we are applying stimulation to the vagina, we're also stimulating the clit. As we're stimulating the vagina, we're also changing the texture of the tissue that is our G spot. And the more aroused, like Latanya said, that you become, the more sensitive the G spot is to sensation. It starts to feel spongy. It has a tissue-like feel as opposed to brittle. I literally think it's like when you see a dry sponge and it look like it ain't get no action. It's so hard, don't feel good. And then as soon as it get wet, what happened? That baby just expand and show you its whole glory. Next thing you know, that baby is in there scrubbing and dubbing like nothing happened, you know? But if you ever tried to wipe something with a dry sponge and can't understand why you ain't getting nowhere, I want you to remember this conversation, because the next time you're trying to get her off or get yourself off, and when I say her, I'm talking about her down there, right? Or yourself off, or your partner's trying to stimulate it and they can't understand why they can't get certain reactions. Well, baby, you don't wet that sponge enough. Okay, you didn't wet the sponge enough. Okay, so the next time you see a sponge get wet, I want you to remember this conversation and I want you to apply that logic in between them legs and make sure you wet that sponge real good so it can get in there and scrub a dub and do what it needs to do. Okay, so that's what's happening on the inside. The other parts of the anatomy that I want to put you to attention to, we'll come back to this in depth later, but is the anal area. So the anal opening is not that far from the vagina, right? Similarly, on the male anatomy, it's the same. And in addition to that, we're noticing that this is a passageway that curves. Don't forget that. We'll come back to that, okay? But the rectum curves, okay? This is the number one reason why most people don't enjoy anal sex, because they don't understand that one detail. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. All right. So now I'm gonna stop the share really quick. I hope some y'all learned some things in that conversation just now, but I want to get in my co-host business again. Okay, because before I start talking about penis, I would love to ask first if you guys can share what your preferred pronouns are and how you identify in this conversation for context, if you're comfortable. I am a she, her, and I am part-time gay. I'm not always acting gay, but I could clock in at any time, and I work remote. So I could be part-time gay anywhere. Full-time straight, part-time gay. All right. So how do you guys identify?
Well, I'll go. I am a she, her. I have played around in the lady pond when I was young, but I like the male parts.
Y'all
Strictly
know,
diggity.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
like to watch now. I like to watch.
Okay, so your eyes is part-time gay, but the rest
Yeah.
of you, it's all right, we getting somewhere. All
Hmm.
right. Nurse Wap, talk to me. Now, Nurse Wap, I don't even know why I'm asking these last two ladies to share anything on this
Oh
stage.
Lord
But
Jesus.
I think I might know too much of y'all business already. Go ahead.
My name is she, her, and I just do what I do.
Do what I do is baby, she out here refurbished doing what she do. Y'all hear me? y'all picking up what she put down. All right. And Noni.
She, her. I'm bisexual. I play, I watch, I have fun. That's just me. It doesn't matter, you know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we got a pretty open-minded panel here, y'all, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. But that sounds like you might know a thing or two about a penis. Look at little Don. I didn't even hear your mic wasn't on and we heard you. I'm gonna just tell you that. Your mic wasn't close your mouth, girl. Where we all casually keep
I
penises on.
said I love a
We're gonna
penis.
be casually with first of all, y'all. Why is the sidekick still on the dildo for this one?
Love a penis.
We're gonna have a good time on this virtual stage today. All right, now y'all know that we true to this. Hold on. All right, if I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, some things might have happened in this office last night, and it's some furniture that might need to be readjusted. Let me go ahead and get things right for you. That picture is hanging because I might have reached for it, So, all right. Okay. So, with that being the question, what is something about the penis that you didn't know before you was a consultant?
I guess for me it was massaging that G spot from the outside, their prostate. Learning that you could get them to where they need to go, because we know as our community, it's frowned upon if you playing anywhere in that back door with them. They don't like that. So another way to get the same result with a different approach.
I love that you brought that up because people take for granted how much culture, right, ethnicity, upbringing, those things, religion can impact people's feelings about certain sexual acts. And so I love that this for you, instead of trying to force people into a space that may not be comfortable for them, that you're taking the approach of looking at other ways to stimulate it. And you guys will see on the diagram exactly what Nurse Swap is talking about. Okay. Good one. Good one. What else y'all got for me?
I'll go. I didn't know the penis worked so hard to ejaculate. Like, I didn't know that the semen didn't just come from the testicles, that it goes all the way to the prostate. So if I change how it's in my mouth or the stroke, it gotta go all the way back down and come on back up. So it works hard. So you gotta keep that motion going.
Lasagna, you and
Better
I,
yet.
lasagna, you and I, Lady D, you and I on the same exact page, because that was what I was gonna say. I did not realize the work that I had. One wrong suck, one wrong move, it is over.
Start
It's
all over.
it's like you got to start all over, and and it depends on how long it's going to take for it to get back.
Yeah.
I
Like,
always like to tell folks, here's my rule of thumb, because y'all know I like slobbing and um I'm not a fan on overworking any part of my body that don't got health coverage. And even though technically my mouth does, there are no such things as physical therapists for your jaw because it got locked up from slobbing a knob. There's nobody who's going to help my throat be less sore because I was putting it so far in the back of my throat that I forgot that I actually use my mouth to talk also. Nobody's helping me with none of that. But then I realized, like what you just said, you working so hard, doing all this extra stuff, and da da da. And I didn't realize that I had to have a goal. I didn't realize that if I want that baby to come, I need to get down there and just lock eyes in with him while I'm doing it and just letting him hear the inside of my mouth because this throat don't exist. So I just go take a deep breath and go to town, right? But if I don't want you to get off, then the stuff y'all just talked about actually becomes applicable, right? Because now I don't want them to come, so I'm gonna keep switching it up. And so I never had that level of thought behind going into the bed to please my partner orally. I just wanted it to feel good. And I'm gonna be honest, because I don't really have this feeling about it now as a grown woman. But when I first became grown, right, early grown, felt like I needed to prove a point. I just wanted to be the best that ever sucked it, or best that ever touched it, or whatever. Right now, I only want to be the best at my man. You know what I mean? You start to have a different mindset as time goes on. You realize I'm not about to be out here overworking this jaw for the Build-A-Bear. I want the guy who owned the workshop. Then I'm gonna work this jaw to the end of time on that one. So but okay, lessons. I hate that this feels like testimonies and dick sucking, but I'll get the point. What I didn't know though was that the frenulum was the most sensitive part. I naturally spent a lot of time on the head just because that's the lazy stuff, a little bit sometimes. But I didn't realize that if I could get real concentrated on in a certain way, that it would change everything. So good stuff. Okay. Y'all done learned some stuff though, since you've been consultants. I'm gonna tell you that. How many of you guys in the chat didn't know some of these things too? Right? Let me know if you were today years old when you learned any of the things that were just said between the first part and the second part. If all of that is new information to you, if any of that is new information to you, right? Karita said, Beverly Candy has provided a cheat for me. I have learned many different techniques. Okay. So some people go to school to grow their knowledge in other things and all that kind of stuff to become whatever. But we go to school for this type of stuff, right? So that's awesome. So I'm going to show you guys really quick the male anatomy on screen. And I want the reason why I ask these questions, guys, just to give you context, is because I really want us to all understand that we're the same. Even as experts, I'm a forever student, and I'm sure the ladies can agree with me on that, because there's no one size fits all for any partner you have. Right. And so the key part about masturbation is not only does it equip you to experience pleasure, but it equips you to communicate with your partners about how to deliver the pleasure to you and to ask the right questions and understand how to deliver it to them. So if you're a person who interacts with the penis, or you have a penis, pay attention, because this is going to be really helpful for you. Now, the anatomy of the penis also is quite complex, right? You got to imagine that there are surgical procedures that can take one organ and turn it into the other. That the anatomy kind of overlaps in a lot of ways, can be similar, but there are some very distinguishing things that separates one from the other. Right? Now with the penis, we got some, just like the vagina has a clitoris and a vaginal opening and lips. Well, believe it or not, guys, men are complicated. Okay, you heard it here first. They may not think that they're complicated here, but they're absolutely complicated there. All right. So what we're talking about is a combination of a few different parts interworking. And when you really understand how this whole organ, was it you, Diane, who said you didn't realize how much work it was? Right. So what she was speaking about, guys, is that, like she said, over here in the testes is where your semen begins for the men, right? And when we're talking about over here, specifically, it was the part of the testicles that is called the scrotum. That specific part of the testicles is where the semen starts. Now, you'll notice right here that there's a line that looks like a pathway, a tunnel, that path that comes up this way. That's called the vas deferens. The vas deferens is basically the tract that things flow from the testicles. The semen flows from the testicle and stops right here at the seminal vesicle. Now, I know y'all ain't gonna remember all these extra terms. So here's the other way of saying that. So you got all the semen over here in the balls, right? And then they was like, oh, it's going down. It's time to get lit. And so they decided to do a Soul Train line on up to the prostate, right? And they stopped right here because they was like, hold on, we got some friends that want to come with us too, right? So now you get seminal fluid that mixes in with the semen to change the texture of it, the consistency of it, and it builds up. It starts to really collect, right? So now they're like, why we can't get outside? What's going on? And they're like, the club ain't open yet. Hold on. We coming, right? Now, some of y'all are shutting down the club. Some of y'all is getting the party started. And then, like Azaria said, you switched it up. And they're like, oh man, they did something different. It's time to go home, y'all. And then somebody's like, wait a minute, she went back. So the semen is running back and forth. Semen is going back and forth between the balls in here. They don't know whether the club is opening up or shutting down. They just turned up and they're ready to get it popping. They don't know what's about to happen. Are we coming or what? Right? So now they up here. Now what Latoya was speaking about stimulating that prostate area from the outside is if the semen is stopping in this part of the body to build up, this portion out here under the Cowper's gland is where the perineum lives. You see this line right here saying perineum. What happens is when you apply and massage at the perineum, it allows you to stimulate this part of the prostate. The prostate is this very all pink, shaded in with no outline around it. That's kind of underlying this area right here. So by stimulating and pushing up with a pressure and a massage into that area, or with a vibrator, right, you're actually stimulating the prostate externally. When people go through the anal portion, which I said is curved, they're placing a finger or a toy or object in and nestling it right here. So in and upward, just like the G-spot, in and upward. And when you apply pressure at that upward point, you're stimulating the prostate in the most direct form possible. Like literally, look how close this part of the anal. I'm gonna clear all of these notes. Let me clear all these drawings or whatever the case is. Look how close this area of the rectum is to the prostate, as opposed to how far it's a little bit further away from the perineum. So this is the secondary way to stimulate it, and this is the primary way to stimulate it, okay? So now we understand all the semen is right here waiting for the club doors to open. They just watching all the ladies get in free before 12, right? And they're like, when y'all gonna let us in? So somebody who is skilled understands that when you keep the consistency with this organ, this is very important for men to understand when masturbating, that keeping the consistency or whatever stimulation you're doing allows this buildup to become a release. And it travels right here through the urethral opening on the penis and out, and boom, all on your face, right? So I'm just kidding. Or wherever you like it. But the point is, that's how they shoot out. Okay, but at any point you interrupt this flow, that baby going back down to the seam, to the testicles, and now you got to work that process all the way up again. So that's why we say when a male is exploring their body in a masturbatory way, or if you're helping your partner explore their body, you applying sensation to the balls. That's what I like, right? It helps to start that process. It gets it going, and it helps the sperm to continue regenerate in that direction of forward. Now, I would advise men to first experience what it feels like to touch their balls softly and then touch them with pressure, and ask yourself how you respond to that. Because not every man likes their balls to be handled the same. Just like not every woman likes to be, having sex the same or having head. Everybody likes something different. Some guys can't handle too sensitive of a touch. It might tickle more than it feels good for them, and that might make them actually, okay, stop and freeze up. You don't want them to do that. Or for some guys, if you apply too much pressure, it actually becomes uncomfortable and starts to hurt. So you want to measure where your boundaries are. Guys, it's helpful if you find that out yourself, either by way of exploring it yourself or sharing with your partner, so that you can say, oh, hey, this is how I like this to be done. Okay, I don't like my balls handled that way, baby. You got to handle with care. Or, I need you to grab them. So you need to know. Okay, the next part of this, and before we phase into the next conversation and understanding it, is that the penis is also complex. You have the shaft of the penis, okay, and then you're gonna have what you don't see pictured here in the diagram is the dorsal veins that run through the shaft. Y'all know what it is. That's the thing that make it look real penisy, right? The veins, baby, the veins. That's letting you know they're ready for you, right? But you're going to have the dorsal veins running through it. You have what is called the glands, which is the whole head of the penis. And then at the bottom of the penis, you have something called the frenulum. So now I'm going to close out the share. I'm going to go back into the chamber and I'm going to grab one of the big daddies. the big D's. Okay. Now we're using vitamin D plus. I'm using it just because of how visual of an item it is. If you look, the dorsal veins are very defined, and anybody feeling this toy actually feels the veins, like you feel the ribbing of it internally, right? Now, on top of that, the portion of the penis that I spoke about is right here under. That's the frenum. This entire piece is the glands. Obviously, this is the shaft. And what this really is a major blood flow. So we talking masturbation and stimulating this organ, period. The key is to get the blood flow here. If a person is experiencing some types of form of dysfunction that is erectile, that is not health related, very important that I mention this, it's not health related, because if it's health related, there may be some other tracks that are needed. But if it's a mental type of dysfunction, something that's making them like distracted and it's causing them to go limp, that's where cock rings and stuff like that come in handy, because what it does is it traps that blood flow at the head of the penis to give them the most strong form of an erection, which actually prevents them from losing it as much as possible. Now, and also might make them last a little longer. Okay, so now that we understand a little bit about the anatomy, it's time to get to touching yourself. Okay, it's time to get to touching yourself. So, Masturbation 101, of course, I want to talk about it with y'all. And I know the whole story. We're about to get to the toys and they're going to own the stage. But it's time to get in y'all business one more time. I mean, maybe it's not one more time. I think I lied. If I say one more time, that means I can't get in your business no more. So I'm going to say it again. It's time to get in your business again. Okay, now I want to know from you guys, and not, you don't got to give me the long, full, drawn out Skinamax version of the story. Okay. What has been your first experience with masturbation? Like the first time you ever played with yourself? Tell me, was it with a toy? Was it with a hand? Was it on accident? Was it on purpose? Give me some.
I think I think for me it was when I was younger and my parents had changed the shower head and they put that detachable head, and you wash and then you rinse, and that rinse was like, oh wait, what's happening? Wow.
Kind of rinse. Oh yeah, you know it's so funny because my first ever masturbating experience was with the shower head too, on accident.
Yeah.
So funny that that's your beginning story. Mine wasn't as direct as yours. It was more so that I thought the shower head was secure on the stand, and it fell. You know how when it fell, the next started doing all that crazy stuff. Well, that baby whipped past me real quick, and I was like, "Run that back. What's that?"
Yeah.
And that then it became more direct. The next thing you know, every time we walked to the tub, I was never in it, but sitting on the side of it. Because that's what that gives you a little bit more closeness to. All right, anyway, we ain't talking about that. Good one. Okay, how and curiously, how old were you?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know, 12, 13 maybe.
I was about 11. I was about 11. So I'm only asking that question because I think most people try to ignore the fact that the curiosity starts much earlier, and it's not necessarily as sexualized as people like to make it at that point in your life. But naturally, we become curious about our bodies, especially as they're developing and we're experiencing puberty and we're getting our periods and we're becoming women. And when you pass something past your nipples, you didn't know, oh, that could feel good. So I love that you say that, because I think any person, this isn't obviously a direct command, but just my advice is to any person here who has young children: don't sit there shaming them or acting like it's not a thing. Instead, take control of the conversation. You're learning this information. Sit down with your son, sit down with your daughters, and have it, because she was 12, 13, I was 11. How about you, Lady D? How old were you?
So with masturbation, I didn't do it myself until I was older because I had some trauma attached to masturbation.
Okay.
But when my pleasure came from masturbation, it was when I had this big black toy called Chocolate Dream. And when I say, now, can we plug we're not gonna plug no old like toy places, but this was an old toy, you know, and it was my first toy. And so can I tell you a little bit about the experience? So
Yes.
I
I'm
didn't
actually
know
very curious about Chocolate Dream.
Chocolate Dream was real big and black, right? He couldn't no suction, so you just had to have it in your hand. So I'm gonna get a little graphic, but not too graphic. So when I, placed it inside of me, I thought it was just gonna do something. So then I had to realize that I had to like fuck myself. So I had to grind and get into this. And let me just say this: Love Jones, the scene when they got to get into it, and when Maxwell starts saying, oh, that's what I use to kind of get it going. And so I'm about 19, 20 when I first got it on with myself. And yeah, so every time I get it on myself, I set the scene.
Right. I love that. Set the scene for a chocolate dream. Now our new chocolate dream is vitamin D. I love that. That was funny. So I love that. Thank you so much. And Noni, how about you?
Okay, so it was kind of like weird. I had used a bullet, but for me, I, like the whole shower thing, I remember that also. But I'm gonna honestly say I was older and I would um I would start just rubbing on my clitoris. And that's when I actually realized I could squirt. So for me, yes, I was the only person that ever made me squirt. So it wasn't just the I'm getting off. It was like, oh, hold up, wait a second, what's this? So that was my for me with masturbation. Like that was as long as I can squirt and get off, I'm good. It feels
Right.
good. So that was for me. I did have a silver bullet back in the day. I don't even know where it came from, but I had one. But it was, but from without a toy, because I felt like when I sit back and I thought about it and remember, it was more or less with my fingers and me getting off on that way and squirting.
Okay.
So it was that way
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
So interesting. I find that most women, when they speak about their first experience with squirting, if they've done it so far, is usually like some way that you did it and it happens on accident, and then you start chasing the feeling after it. So it's so interesting because someone made me squirt, but afterwards I became so curious about what was happening that controlled that mechanism that I was hell bent on understanding the science of it. Baby, I can do it on command now. He could say now, and they'll go shh, shh. It's like an on and off faucet. You know what I'm saying? With good water pressure. You know what I mean? So, and also Nisha said, I'm chasing the feeling without ever having the feeling. And so, Nisha, what you just said is so common. So many people want to squirt, but they don't understand how to. And I want you, Nisha, for anyone who's like Nisha, remember what we talked about with the anatomy. So the clitoris goes in. What you got to know about the G spot is that the clitoral organ is actually surrounding it, right? So when you stimulate that tissue, you're actually stimulating the clit. When you stimulate the clit, you can feed energy to the G spot. When they inside your vagina, nobody answered the question earlier, but the bulb surrounding the walls is the reason why we say they hit the walls, because you actually feel the sensation of your clit being stimulated from vaginal penetration. So that's why girth can be a very, very significant thing. Okay. Now, when it comes to squirting, most of it is mental. Remember what I also said, Nisha, about it's going to feel like you have to pee, but the reasons why it feels like you have to pee is because of where the organs are located. The other thing that you should know is the fluid that you shoot out from squirting comes from your skin gland, not your bladder. Okay. Now, if a person doesn't drink a lot of water, it's very possible for traces of that to end up in your squirting stream. But if you've had a good amount of water, you've cleared your bladder before, then you can experience it. But the most important thing will become positioning too, okay, for some folks. So we'll talk about position stuff in a minute, okay? All right. Now, let's go back. Hold on, let me screen share for you guys. So I asked you guys these questions about it because I wanted to take you guys back to our guide, like I said, and everybody will get this guide if you don't already have the BK Kids app as a consultant. Masturbation 101. So we're not going to go too deep, right? But we want you to understand the way masturbation comes in on your own, but the way masturbation becomes a couples thing as well, because people only think of masturbation as a solo act, and it's not. Okay. But we understand that masturbation is something that lends benefits for your mental and physical health. The best way it's helped my mental is that masturbation has kept me from calling the wrong person more times than I could count. Okay. It was very good for my mental. Because I know if I would have called them later on, my mental would have been jacked up. I'm just kidding. But no, but in a literal level, there are certain every time you release and have an orgasm, that dopamine, that serotonin that's released in the process contribute to happy feelings, contribute to things that make you feel calm, make you feel whatever. And when you're talking about oxytocin, which is a cuddle hormone, which is why some people have a desire to be close and held after they have an orgasm with a partner, these are all the hormonal things that can be released when you have an orgasmic release, right? Anytime. Now, understand that coming, right, having an ejaculatory release, in other words, is not the same as an orgasm, because for most people, orgasms happen here. Okay, it stimulates the parts of your senses that make you feel like you left your body. Okay, so a lot of people, you could come, release ejaculatory fluids without having the mental rush that you get when more parts of you are stimulated. So I mean, keep that in there, because like one of our co-hosts said earlier, people take for granted that, like LaDanya said, my G-spot don't activate until you stimulate my mind, right? So with that, there's a lot of benefits. Creates a sense of well-being. It can enhance your sex, like I said, in your communication and things like that. It helps people learn how to be touched, right? But I want you guys to also consider masturbation as a super, super great tool if you are somebody like LaDanya who has some trauma attached to sexual stimulation early on. And that masturbation allows you to explore your body, experience sensation with no one calling the shots but you. Okay? No one, if you like what you're feeling, you can make it, you can keep going. If you don't like what you're feeling, you can make it stop. No one takes that control or that power away from you. So if you're somebody who may have experienced any form of sexual assault where someone took away your right to determine what felt good to you or not, this can be a really healthy way for you to reintroduce yourself back to pleasure. The greater thing about that is when you are at a point in life where you're ready to now go back into incorporating a partner into your life, now you learn these things about yourself that you didn't get the opportunity to learn prior to. And you can tell them, I don't like to be touched this way. I do like to be touched this way. Here's what I'm curious about, and here's what I'm open to, and here's what an absolute no is. So you allow your partner to respect your sexual boundaries. Okay. So there's a lot of things that it can do. It can help you with your sleep. It can reduce stress. It can help have alleviate menstruation cramps. A lot of people don't realize that, and also help your menstrual cycle pass quicker, because the contracting of your pelvic floor and that you experience when you actually orgasm helps pull down those menstrual fluids, that blood, a little bit quicker. And so it's not like it's something to stop your period quicker on some unhealthy way. It just helps the flow come down faster, if that makes sense, right? Just how people can have sex and it could bring their flow down. Having sex could also help the flow pass quicker. All right. So it also can help you if you're treating any other forms of dysfunction in sex. Okay. A lot of times people come with issues in this area, and the issue isn't sex. The issue is something else surrounding the sex. So spending intentional time with yourself allows you to recognize, is the problem in me and my partner, or is it just a problem, whether I'm alone, whether I'm with them? So you learn a lot, right? Now, where I spoke about really briefly, the fact that it's not just a one person thing, that's where you have something called mutual masturbation. Mutual masturbation. So this isn't about having penetrative sex. This is a really safe way, especially for two individuals who might be saving themselves for marriage, right? Or abstinent, right? Choosing celibacy as a path, any of those things come into play. These can be ways to experience pleasure and stimulation without going all the way, but you learn a lot. And I think it can be really fun if while you're mutually masturbating, you turn it into something where you can communicate, this is why I touch my clit like this. This is why I move my fingers at this rate of speed. Yeah, baby, I like where you're going there, but when you just stay right there and press like that, it don't do nothing. But when you really move those hands, I feel something different. You can't really, have those conversations till you know. The other piece of it is it can reduce risk of passing STDs and things like that too, if you want to be a little bit more sexual open and experience things with less risk. Obviously no risk of pregnancy unless, y'all mutually masturbate and then take it to the next level without making sure all the evidence is gone or whatever. But it also could be very arousing if you're like Lady D, who might not play in the pond no more, but sure will watch the pond get wet and play, right? So You know what I'm saying? You might like, okay, I like watching her do that. You know what I'm saying? Or him do that, whatever the case is. So understand that masturbation is not just a solo act. Okay. Now, time to get in y'all business. Um, y'all tired of putting your business on Front Street yet? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, cool. Yes, Karita, sex helps labor 100%. And masturbation can help it too, because not always having your partner available to you, or maybe you just don't want them on your bladder, or whatever is true.
Oh,
Um,
I got a confession about that. That's how I went into labor with my daughter, by masturbating. I masturbated at 12 and went into labor at 2:30 in the morning. Yes. So it does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's so interesting because my first ever nipplegasm was it took me to labor. Because I was reading at that time, this was my first child, so long before I was a consultant or a sex educator. And that baby said, because you can stimulate the nipples and it increases the creation of, you know how you have certain hormones, progesterone, and non-fertility things, whatever, that help with bringing down labor. Well, I found out that it could also help with those contractions. And I was literally just in the shower, laying in the tub with the shower water running on me because I was in so much, and just rubbing my nipples and had a whole orgasm touching my nipples and went into labor. Anyway, so it's so funny. Doulas in the world, and if you know what I'm saying, y'all need to start talking about these things. Now, I want to know. This might be a hard question because most people already have the answer to this question ready, but it's going to be the second part that makes it maybe a little more challenging. What is your favorite type of stimulation on your body outside of your clitoris? No clits included. Talk to me now.
I'll go,
Okay.
but I got a prop, right? So those vestibular bulbs you were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
the it's a part of your valley, your pearl. It's nice and fat, right? Like a lot of times, well, mine's is fat. I'm sorry. A lot of times, if you
Hey, fat mom.
massage it right, it does something to you. So mic drop. I don't want to talk about it yet, but I like to rub mic drop just on those two side by side. I don't even touch my clit. And baby, the power in this mic, baby, against yeah. But I'll save that for later. But listen, those bulbs on each side, you can get them even good massage like this, or get you a good, nice toy to just rub down.
Hey, do
That's how I
something.
get them. Yeah.
They do something. And then one of the most slept on, it's one of the most slept on parts of the whole organ, the
Mm,
lips. People
mm,
just think that they're apart.
mm.
Like,
Them lips are nice.
no, baby, these lips could do a thing or two. Dana, thank you so much because I was trying to get the word out. And I was like, I know it's a hormone, oxytocin, which is also something that you can release during having sex. Right. But she shared rubbing your nipples can
Oh,
produce oxytocin, which stimulates contractions. So yeah. And I was trying to bring that baby down. Um,
anybody else getting turned on? Good God.
it's a lot of stuff happening here, y'all. It's a lot of stuff happening here. So she likes to stimulate the lips of the vulva. Okay. What else y'all got for me? Noni's still thinking. I'm coming to you, Toy, because Noni is like, I'm trying to. She's really thinking about it. She's really thinking about it.
I am, because it could, you know, honestly. So I'm gonna do the where we have the partner and without the partner touching us. For me, it's my neck, like getting my neck, like my neck. But I realize it's my nipples also. And like LaDanya said, the lips. I can masturbate with the side of my lips. And I'm going to just throw it in there. I don't have it in front of me, but the womanizer, where it doesn't touch my clit, because I love the vibration on my lips. I don't always have to touch. So I'm like, that be it for me. And like a really good nipple stimulation, pressing down with pressure, like on my nipples, like having a nipple clamps, and I have my nipples pierced. So you talking about just going in and pulling and just big, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's getting very interesting, y'all. All right now, Toya. Y'all know we about to get to the goods because they starting to get very, very open.
It's funny, right? So my entire body is an erogenous zone. Okay. So depending on what type of mood I'm in or who I'm talking to, what I'm looking at, what I'm feeling like, I could just rub my nails across my thighs and I'm going to be ready to blast off. Okay. So it doesn't have to be nothing specific for me. She's always ready. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't put on a t-shirt and sell it, I will. And I'm not sharing the proceeds. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I
My whole
mean, like,
body.
really, if people think like you gotta always be having some type of penetration or stimulation to have an orgasm, and I don't. And I've told partners that I've had before, like, if I'm truly in tune with you, you can sit here and caress my hand, and I will just,
So get
yeah.
there. You know, it's for me, I'm gonna go with a strange one that for me, it's those inner crevices of my arms and my knees that are super, super sensitive, and that back, that nape of that back, baby. Ooh, that nape of that back will have me crawling like a cat, run, I don't, baby. Oh, then made up a new dance messing with that back, baby. So they run their mouth slow up there, and I love the fact that it's behind me, so I can't see when they're about to kiss me sometimes. Or mm, mm. But you are so right, because for my sapiosexuals out there, because I'm one of them too. If you are stimulated mentally, you will have a partner who could say the right thing. You read the right text. They ain't got to be in the same room with you, and you can sit there and you just close. You ever get a message and you just close your eyes? You like, you know, the same sound effect you made, you bit into a perfect bite of crispy chicken, or you know what I'm saying, like or you had took a king crab leg and you dipped it in a whole bunch of juicy butter and you bit into it. You just can't go, you can't do nothing but go, you know what I mean? Just catching dripping stuff for no reason, right? Ooh, ooh.
I
Oh,
need Dion not to put his hands in the camera because it just took me to a whole nother level. And it's nothing even sexual about Dion. Like, that's my boy, but it just was something about his hands and Cash and talking about butter. I can't eat shellfish, but just the whole, oh, sorry,
you
just the
just see it
whole thing.
dripping.
Just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It don't even gotta
Just,
be crab leg. It don't even gotta be
just,
crab leg. Anything that's juicy. Get you a burrito taco. Anything that drips. That's why they call it food porn. I think that's a joke, but it's food porn for a reason. What you doing while you eating? No, let me put this whole thing. This hot dog so big. I'm gonna be eat all of this. Well, yeah, that's porn. I don't care what nobody say. Watch you put a 12-foot dog in your mouth and you think I'm not. You think I'm not measuring how far back you put that thing in your throat before you bit down on it? You bugging. maybe that's the part of my body that gets stimulated. My eyes, because I'd be like, so all right, y'all. Let's go forward. All right. I have one more question though. That's coming up for you guys before we go on to toys, but really, really quick, wanted to take a moment to share that in our guidebook. I'm not going to go deep into these things at this moment. We'll spend about 10 minutes, not even 15, because we're going to need some time on them toys, baby. But I want to share with you that when you receive our replay, and you receive your guidebook, there's going to be all these different tips. Now, some of these tips are unisex, and then some of them are divided by who the tips are for, right? So we have these common ones like setting the mood. I'm very big on that one. Setting the mood. You want to consider the type of all of the senses. What's the lighting like? What fragrances in the air? What sounds are playing? Is it music? Is it porn? Is it whatever? Or any of that kind of stuff or visuals? What do you got on? Right? All of those types of things. You might not think it's fun to dress up to have an orgasm, but it is. It's very fun to dress up and have an orgasm. If you are like Toya, for example, who's stimulated by the simplest of things, just feeling your fingers go past a fishnet could do it for you. All right. So think about all of those things. Set the mood, because I understand that sometimes we're getting it in quickie, but I believe that you should always, at least on a monthly basis, set some intentional quality time for you to map your pleasure. Right. And the reason why I say that is because all of us are talking here to you on the platform. And we're speaking about the things that satisfy us. But as your body goes through different things, like Toya shared, when you had her having a hysterectomy, changing her relationship with pleasure. So you got to be aware that what's going on in your everyday life can actually impact your body's response to pleasure, including getting aroused and libido and things of that nature that come into play. So set the mood. You want to change up positions. A lot of people go to that same go-to, looking like a crab, play with their toys. They better look like a crab, play with their toys. You got two big arms and them legs is like this hanging, trying to survive. And where's all the meat at on that crab? On the small blue crabs? In the middle, right? Don't nobody waste time eating on them tiny legs. No, but you up there looking like a little crab, but change up the position. Okay. And that's what this talks about. If you stand a lot, try sitting, try leaning against something, try sitting with your hips put forward. That tilted position of your uterus, especially if you have a tilted uterus or you have had a hysterectomy, can change the way something feels in its own, right? So switch your hands. Everybody has a go-to hand, especially men. You could tell which hand they meet with based on which one is strong. If you want to find out, have an arm wrestling match with them and tell them we're gonna do round one with this arm and then we're gonna do round one with the other one. And you're gonna find out just which one of those hands whack-a-mole real quick. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're gonna find out real quick. Dion laughing because he know. And you'll be surprised. Often the whack-a-mole hand is not their dominant hand. Okay, it's the underutilized hand. They save all the strength in their left hand for beating because they use their right for everything else sometimes. So just note that. But I also want you to notice something about that is really relevant, right? Because if this was a male organ, this is how it would look. Just which hand is placed is determining which part of the penis is getting touched, which fingers, right? So just changing your hand for a male, for example, could change everything up. For a woman, because we have more parts that we're sometimes stimulating, right? Using your less dominant hand to hold the toy while your more dominant hand is doing something with the vaginal opening or with your nipples that might, whatever, can change everything. Move your hips. I want to ask the ladies in the room real quick, and then I'm gonna tease Dion. Actually, you can go on, Dion, because you might get a little something out of this too, right now. Because actually, the pelvic thrusting motion for a lot of guys, because that's what they do when they're having sex. You'd be surprised how just moving your body forward into your hand can change it from staying still while you're doing it. And it's kind of like how when a male is dancing with a woman partner or any partner, and they're not actually having sex, but that friction of them coming towards their body alone can build up arousal. So while you're sitting right now, I want you to imagine. I'm gonna put a song on. Let me get a song for us. Hold on now. Hold on. I have one. I got one in the queue, a little something, right? So we're gonna get that song going. And I want you to, we're gonna take 30 seconds to just grind our hips, to just move your hips in a motion that feels as sexy as it is. Cut your cameras off if you want to. Cut them on if you want us to see you because you're an exhibitionist and you like to be looked at. But ultimately, we want to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pick a song. Hold on. Now, let's see. I got it right here. This is a mix. Right now. Find that waist. And I want you to pay attention to what you're feeling in that region. Now, hold on. We're going to take it deeper, y'all. We're going to take it deeper. Now, take your hands and follow your body, but bring your body and hands towards your vulva. So you're coming up, but you want to bring that blood flow down and push it down towards your vulva, right? Because we're going to help the blood flow. Okay? But just grinding along. Get the energy going. That actually could really start arousing. I'm gonna tell y'all. This right here, this one act. This one act, guys, can literally not just transform your masturbating. You can masturbate doing just that. Of the friction of your organs passing by each other. Okay, so that's the reason why sometimes when you see somebody and they got a song on and they got that look on their face and they're like, oh, she getting it. He getting it. You know what I'm saying? Because they really getting it. No joke. All right. So keep that in mind, guys. Want that friction. Same thing applies when you masturbate. And don't just stay still, move. Okay, explore other erogenous zones because, like you've heard from us speaking about just a moment ago, there are other places on the body outside of your genital organs that have sensation that can really add it up. And take your time. I know sometimes masturbating is usually a quick, get it in real quick thing, but set some time for it not to be. Because if you don't do that, you don't leave room for discovery. You just leave room for getting off. Okay. So you don't go into it with no goal sometimes. The only goal is to enjoy it. Okay. Now, real quick. I also sorry, I didn't mean to stop the screen share. That was an accident. The other things I want you to pay attention in the guide is that there are tips for vulva owners that talk about our specific anatomy and tips for what you can do in those different areas to masturbate or stimulate, and some additional tips down here that might be a little more direct to certain anatomy, right? But all types of stuff in here. And then we do the same for our penis owners, okay? Different things to help you shift up. Because, we know for y'all, it's usually, it looks like one thing sometimes. But there's a lot of different ways that you guys can kind of add some things to it and playing around with things that will change the sensations for you. Try not having a goal. Try edging for orgasm control, right? Go beyond just your penis, right? Because a lot of guys don't touch their own balls. It's so crazy. I want your balls touched, but y'all don't be touching them. Except to clean them. It's kind of crazy to me because I want to touch everything that feel good on me. So touch other parts of yourself, guys. Different strokes. And now we're gonna get into the goods. We're gonna get into the goods. I have a question now. Time to mind your business. I have a question. So this question is, this is gonna be hard. I'm gonna be honest. BK consultants in the chat, anybody who's purchased a toy, any of that kind of stuff or whatever, I want you guys to respond in the chat room. If you were stranded on an island and you could only pack one toy, one lube, and one arousal product, and I'm saying one toy, one lube, one arousal products, because y'all like Noni gonna be like, well, it depends because I like the mic drop, but sometimes the stroke of genius. I want you to set one toy, one lube, and one arousal product. What would it be?
I'll go first since you want to call me out.
Mm-hmm.
The Womanizer Pro, the Unwind Arousal Bomb, and the Silk.
Oh, that's a good survival kit right there, baby. Look at this. Look at this chat. Womanizer, Silk, Enthrall Me. Womanizer, Silk, Kiss and Ting. Okay. Sidekick, CBD, Arousal, and Silk. Oh, okay. Okay, D. I feel like I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay. We got another Womanizer Pro 40, Ignite Me, and Delicious Encounters, Green Apple. Ready? Who's gonna be licking that thing? On the island. Randy said she's gonna find somebody on the island. Just look, she said stay ready, so I ain't gotta get ready. It's gonna taste good just in case. I'm just messing with you, Randy. Okay. Stroke of Genius, Unwind, and Silk. King. All right. Now, I don't read King as Kang. Kang, because he walked with a limp. The Intimate Essentials. Okay. And Enthrall Me. We got a lot of interesting choices here. Adventure 2, Queen, Stroke of Genius, Sidekick. Now hold on now. Karita said she taking Sidekick too. Karita said there's dick on the island somewhere. She said I'm gonna take these here with me just because I meet my husband. Okay, all great choices I'm seeing over here. All right, what we got, Latoya? What you taking?
It's definitely the womanizer. That's definitely it. And unwind times two. I mean, the arousal bomb and the secret serum. I want a double whammy.
Oh, oh, okay. Oh, so she's gonna sit here and tell us how sensitive she is already, right? You just touch me, you could, then I'm coming, right? And then she gonna tell us that she's gonna take some stuff with her to make it worse.
It's terrible.
Something tells me Toya's into BDSM. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See. I know a glutton for punishment when I see it. I know somebody who is a glutton for punishment when I see her. I know what she looks like and what she sounds like. Okay. And what you got for me, Lady D?
So, Womanizer Pro was my favorite. I'm sorry, I am not having an orgasm in less than 60 seconds. But I'm gonna go back to this mic drop. Listen, if I got pain, it's gonna get it out. But if I want to get an orgasm, it's gonna get it. So this is like two, three different things in one. I can get a massage on the island by myself. I can rub on my nipples by myself, and then I can play with my kitty by myself. So before I do that, I'll put my enthrall me arousal bomb on to get it right and get it tingling first. Now, I think that was Karita that said it was probably a man on the island. I'm thinking my husband gonna be on the island, and I'm gonna get to the silk because we was talking about masturbating, right? But of course, I said I like to watch my husband masturbate. And one thing about this silk on here, baby, that silk keeps the consistency going when masturbating. That's one of our
It does say slip and
favorites.
slide. I will tell you, and it
Yeah,
look like you, and it look like y'all. I always say it don't just look like me, it look like we. It look like what happened when his stuff and my stuff come together. Or her
listen,
stuff and my stuff come together. What
listen.
that was appropriate.
I love silk, but sleek. Just watching him just stroke it, and it just
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't
Sleep
move.
is sleep. So we're gonna talk about lube because people realize we talked about a lot of different lubes. Because I said one toy, one lube, and one arousal product. And you guys see in the chat so many different lubes were thrown out there. Some came up again, which could let you, that's a testimony. But we have so many different lubes, and people don't realize that not every lube is for everything. So we'll talk about that in a second, okay? Now, for me, I gotta grab the cane. And the reason why I gotta grab the cane is because it might not be no dick on the island. And just so the emergency case, I do need something to put up in me. I like that king has the dual stem thing going, so I can still get that clit action going. It's nice and girthy, but I could also use the tip of the king on my clit, and the king could also go back there if he wanted to. You know, um, so I need something that could handle all occasions. I don't want to be out there with no clit toy, and then I'm out there just missing, like just sitting there looking up to the sky, like, dang, I forgot what it feel like for something to go up in me. So I gotta take the king. Now, secondarily, I'm a silk true and through girl. I'm not gonna lie, silk true and through. Even though the bottles that get finished quickest in my household are, and I don't be lying to y'all. Look how empty this bad boy is. Look, we just got somewhere. You saw how long it took? So let me just clean that up. Hold on. Put it somewhere else. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, if they run out the quickest. But just in case, again, I'm alone, I'll take that silk. Okay, at least I can look at it and remember what semen looked like. Because it's very visual, guys. So that'll be my second, and then my third, as far as arousal, is my just in case will be sweet on. My just in case will be sweet on me. It is a edible product, guys. It's flavored, whatever the case is. But I just like the warmth that I feel with it. And if there is a penis on the island, sweet on me to help me slob it. You feel what I'm saying? So we still shifting up, So that would be my go-to survival island kit. All right, guys. So my AP making me want to get this mic drop. I'm trying to understand why it took for her to say it. Because mic dropped last January, and you ain't finishing them sentences yet, Latasha. Now hold on now. I'm gonna message you after this. Because why you ain't got my drop? I got two. Um, I have two mic. I'm not gonna go get them right now because I'm not about to let y'all understand how but they both in the bathroom. But I got two. So okay, I figured we should make it really easy for folks to figure out what are some things to think about when it's time to choose their toy. And I know you guys are going to talk specifically about certain toys that are your go-tos in your face, and you'll show them on screen. But to begin, I want to start with toys that are external versus internal. So I want you guys to know that what we're about to go into is what types of things you might want to be thinking about when choosing the actual toy. Okay, to help you get as close to knowing what product you get will likely get the job done. Obviously, there's no way to know certain things until you open it and use it. But if you could take these things into consideration, it might determine how that experience turns out, right? So it is time for how to choose that toy. Now, again, in the spirit of being helpful, you'll get their guide, get this guide. And consultants, this will be a guide that you can continuously use to help advise your customers. Even if, because we have so many toys, it's hard to know everything about all of them, right? So this will be a really great quick reference guide. Now, I'll say this guide doesn't include every single toy, but it includes enough toys to give you guys enough variety and range to understand. And it will even help you choose the toy based off of what most people consider when they're buying something, right? So I want to ask, what type of things do y'all think about when you're buying something? Just anything.
Power.
Power, how good it's going to be. Effectiveness, right? Is it going to get the job?
Price.
Whether it's a hammer or a screwdriver, a power drill or a dildo, is it going to do what it needs to do?
Accessible.
Price,
Accessible.
price,
Accessible. Can I
accessible.
hold it?
Can
Will
I
I
hold
throw
it?
it? Will I throw it or will it stay on my hand?
Okay. Is it easy? So accessible could also determine how easy it can travel with you. Can I access it at any time? Or is it just something that this one stays at home? Or price and quality, how often I'm going to use it. What's the levels like? What's the comfort like? What's the impact? Is it waterproof? Is it gonna go under the sea? Okay. All correct answers. All correct answers. But how do you know how to make those decisions if you don't know, if you haven't touched a toy, right? Right? And Zoe said, I am an external or internal. Well, that's another question. Is it external? Is it an internal toy? Is it a dual stem? Am I using this with my partner? Am I all of these things to ask yourself to choose a toy? So let's get into it. Okay. Now, on this reference sheet, you'll see that we've broken down the toys by a couple of things. Those things that y'all talked about. What can it do? What are the features? How high can it go? What's the intensity? What's the levels? What's the power source? Is it rechargeable? Is it battery operated? Okay. What's the budget? What's the price point? So as we go through these conversations, and each member will talk about some of these toys in a little bit more in depth. I want you to keep that in mind. This key right here will let you know that if it has $1 sign, that means it's between $30 and $70. If it has $2 signs, that means it's between $70 and $100. And if it has $3 signs, that means it's 100 and up. Simple enough? Okay. So now when you guys are like, how much is that one? And how much is that one? Well, you at least have a range. So if you right now off the bat are thinking, today I came here because I'm interested in getting a toy. I'm not willing to spend more than like $70, then you should be paying attention to toys that price in the single dollar sign section. But if you're like, I might go up to 80 if it's good enough, keep your eye on the double signs. If you're like, there's no price you can put on this pleasure, baby, then just pay attention to it all. Okay. I want to convey this one important thing. Just because the price is different doesn't mean that the toy is less efficient or good. It just means it could do different things. 9 times out of 10, when a toy is more expensive, you're paying for more features. You're paying for a different quality or a different type of material. You're paying for different functionalities, whether it gets more equipped to do more things than the next one. So it's just a compare and contrast of the actual types of specs and details. That makes sense? Okay. So let's start with external vibes. Okay. Now, when we talk about external vibes, we're talking about toys that we're using to provide stimulation on the outside of the body. It can be a clitoris, it could be a penis, it could be the testicle area, any of those types of things. But their designed use is for external stimulation and not to put inside the body. Okay. Now, I know in this area, we had 2 of them that I seen that we had some people very eager to talk about. Okay. Now, one of which is get in touch. Okay. Now, these are the details about get in touch, but to better help you understand this particular product, I'm going to stop the screen share for just a moment and bring it back because I know Lady D is ready to get in touch with y'all. Talk to us, Lady D.
Let me get into it. So this is what I have here, a finger vibe. And this finger vibe is called Get in Touch. It's very important that utilizing the finger vibe, it can do some wonderful things. And what I say, do some wonderful things, while we're here talking about masturbation, if we think about, cunnilingus, you can provide this to your male or female partner and allow them to guide and find your erogenous zones on your clitoris, your lips, all those different things. But guess what? We talking about masturbation. So we talking about treating ourselves, right? So if I had this in my hand, guess what? I can't throw it. I can't throw. Y'all know y'all be throwing them toys after you have an orgasm. So what I would do, we'll get in touch because it has 20 vibes. Now I only got about to 5 of these, right? But it has 20 different vibes. Listen, it's important to understand your body because sometimes this pointer right here may not get to where you need it to go. So you have to learn yourself. You have to figure out what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Because guess what? This pointer may be a little bit too much for you, and the vibrations may be a little bit too much. So you just have to make sure you learn yourself and touch yourself. So, you can go here to the nipple or you can go right on down to the clitoris, baby. And this thing is only $38. This is what I call small packages with a big bang. You're gonna get a big bang for your buck with this $38, baby. So, and also, I'm not gonna leave the penis out. If you have a penis, you can caress the penis as well with get in touch. So, baby, this is something that you want to get. You want to make sure you have one, at least one, if not two, because you can use this and play with yourself at the same time. So, this is what we talking about with get in touch.
Okay, now. I
So,
hope, I hope y'all in touch on that end. Now, I like to use get in touch under the balls. And a guy could do that too. You can use your dominant hand on the shaft while you're using get in touch to give testicle stimulation. But what she said, everything she said is 100% in tune. So when we're talking about something like get in touch, right? I'm gonna bring back our screen share, right? We get in touch. It's an intensity level has the ability to go really high. It
yeah,
is a chargeable toy like she shared. It has 20 vibration settings and it is waterproof and it attaches to your fingers. So this is what makes this toy so special. Okay. Now it's in a budget range, like she shared, it is $38. So it is in our single dollar sign budget range. So if those features sounded attractive to you, I want you to think about getting in touch. Now, our next one you see here is not something that we're gonna go too crazy in depth because it's a very popular one. All right.
right.
This one right here has gotten plenty of love and you've been
These
seeing
big toys,
what
though.
about day ones, but you're looking at another external vibe. What separates this one from Get in Touch is Candy Kisses high is a little bit more of a medium. Okay. This toy has a range that allows it to go low, medium, and high, but it's not as strong as the high of some of our other toys, if that makes sense, right? So if you're the kind of person who's like, I need the power,
Mm,
Candy Kisses may not be the perfect one for you. But if you're like, I don't need too much of a crazy power, I just needs to go, then it could be perfect. Okay. It's discreet, looks like a lipstick, 7 settings, super quiet, and waterproof. Now, Queen, I know that you got to talk about Queen, and I'm gonna be honest, Queen is an overlap because Queen is the toy for me too. One of the toys for me
right.
too. Okay. Now out of the toys you see here that vibrate, because Womanizer Pro is suction, so I mean pleasure air. Out of the toys that vibrate, this is the most powerful external vibe that you're looking at here. I'm gonna let you tell them about it, Lady G. Tell them about that Queen real quick, and then I'll feed in anything that I might want to share with them on top of it.
Listen, first of all, this is for the queens. You want to be treating yourself like a queen? Believe me, this right here, body quake motor with 10 different settings. Listen, if I had some water right now, I would just show you what it would do to your clitoris. But since I don't, I'm just going to allow you to see a little bit. Now it's moving. Do you understand what it would do to your clitoris? And the fact that it's so compact in your hand and this body safe silicone just feels so soft. And guess what? You can just move it on down and it's so compact in your hand and it gets the job done. Treat yourself. It's masturbation month. You got a couple of more days before the end of this month to just treat yourself like a queen and get one of these.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, I think I do have that water thing covered for you real quick. Let me see. Let me see what it's
Yes.
going to be. but I might be able to get it done over here on my end. Now, Queen, one thing I want you guys to know about the Queen. I'm gonna bring back that screen share for you guys so you can see it for my visual folk, right? Forgive me because I might have just moved this. There we go. Got it. Okay. Let me restart that share because I didn't have the screen highlighted to share with you guys. There we go. So like was shared just now, when it comes to Queen, we're talking about the thing that separates Queen and the toys that you see got that purple color to it right there from the rest of the toys in our collection is that it sports something called comfort technology. What that impacts is the feel of the toy. Okay, that's what's going to make it go ahead and the best way I can say it is you're going to not just feel strong vibration, but it's going to feel a little bit more soft than most silicone. So a lot of toys you'll feel very solid, very hard. Queen doesn't have that being a part of the features for it, right? Let me head over to what I'm going to do is I'll screen share for you guys from our Bedroom Candy Instagram page in just a moment. I'm just working to get the link up. But in the meantime, understand that when you talk about Queen, you're choosing a toy that's going to deliver power, but has a softer feel. So if you're somebody who's really turned off from toys because they feel too hard or they don't feel as skin-like as you might want them to be, well, Queen is one of those toys that helps with that problem. Okay. Now, the other thing about it is it contains something that we call a body quake motor. What does that mean? A body quake motor is essentially one of the most powerful motors in our collection. Honestly, up until Mic Drop came, nothing was beating these motors in our collection. Now, it's a body quake in that it's a specifically designed motor to deliver the type of power to these types of toys. So if you're like we said earlier, if you're the person who needs a lot, this will be great for you. Okay, I think I might have our video here. Let me just make sure it's opening up okay really quick. Just a moment. And I'll be able to show you what Queen looks like in water, and I'll be able to show you just some other things. Because you guys heard a lot about Silk. How many of you guys was Toya, Noni, and Latoya? How many people chose Silk again, was it? Oh, you just there with it. Okay, stay ready. All right, we get it. Stay ready. We ain't mad at it. Okay, I saw Silk come up a lot in the chat row or whatever the case is. I got you here. So let me switch my screen share really quick to this screen here. And you guys can find lots of videos on the Bedroom Candy social media page that'll show you a lot of the products and give you a lot of details too. So this is the Queen.
A touch of love, a little bit, just a little bit.
That's it. That's the Queen.
Now listen, I'm a firm believer that every queen is her own ruler of her own queendom. And so therefore, I said to myself, can't no queen out here touch me. And I met her. Touch me. Let me show you how. Just.
Y'all see that water?
Okay. Now we went again. Now you done made a mess. That's what he said. Again and again. Splish splash. Splish splash. Splish splash. That's so low. Y'all wanna go up? Oh baby, stop dripping all over me.
That's Silk, y'all. That's Silk.
Better change the game. Hello. Just parking in the back. Reserve parking. Disrespectful. And although she packs a lot of power, she's still so soft and gentle, like the delicate lick of a tongue. She goes both ways.
Y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. We're gonna bring the screen share out. We're gonna close the screen share out. That's why the Queen is my choice. Now, I have a lot of toys that I really, really, really thoroughly enjoy. But I love that Queen. Like if somebody put it on my throat, it becomes one of those toys that could be a couple's toy or a solo toy. And that's what I love most about it. It's not intimidating. If you have a partner who's never really played with toys in the bedroom and you want to introduce a toy, this doesn't look like something that's going to dethrone them from their seat. So Queen is a choice that could be really great for you if you love all of those different factors that just came up. Now, just lastly, want to make a quick note to point out that we had a few other on the deck before we go into the next section, and that is we also have Ripple and Womanizer Pro 40. Now, Womanizer Pro 40 was also in the survival kit of many, many in the chat room just a moment ago. So that is its own testimony. And just like that queen, that Womanizer Pro 40 tends to make a few things splash too. Now, the thing to consider with something like Ripple is like how Queen has comfort tech technology and Candy Kisses has a discreet, sexy design, and Get in Touch can attach to your finger. Well, this one has Pleasure Pearl technology. What it means is that there are pearl beads inside of the toy that go up and down, up and down, up and down, while the toy is also vibrating to give sensation to an external part of the body. Now, you're talking about it's going to be rubbing against the surface, and it has up to 10 different patterns. All right. So this is something that is obviously waterproof because it is a part of our Splash collection. And that's why I sports the sexy, sporty kind of aqua blue that you've got going on there. It's also in a price point that is similar to Get in Touch of being in our single $sign price point. So that's something, those are things you might consider. Maybe you want to feel pearls past you versus a tongue flick at you versus a small bullet style toy hit you, or Get in Touch that might be a little bit more precision and pointy. This gives a little bit more surface. Now, I'm going to point out Womanizer Pro 40 and that the technology that separates this one from the rest of the contenders here is that it has Pleasure Air technology. So it's circulating air so fast that it creates a feeling like suction, and it has up to 6 speeds it can do that. What I love most about Womanizer Pro 40 is the interchangeable heads, and that every clitoris isn't the same. So they have wider heads, a smaller head to make sure that you find the right fit, which also makes it very easy to clean. Now, in the chat roll, after you've heard about some of these external vibes, I would love for you to drop in the chat roll. If you had to choose an external toy right now, based on what you learned, what would it be? Now, no, there is a toy that's not on screen, and it's a new toy. And I know that you had a thing or two that you wanted to say about it. So can you put a song? Put a song. What you got going over there?
Oh, baby, it is our sex kitten. You see how pretty she is? Oh, and FYI, she does come in black also. So, you could have on all black and spend the night with her. You could have on nothing and rock the pink. And it's travel friendly. Yes.
Now
10,
I'm curious, Noni.
10 preset pulsations. What happened? What?
I'm curious
Mhm.
because you're holding it and you seem very familiar with this toy.
Yeah, see, what had
Noni,
happened was, when she was released to us, I had to get two because it's pink, but it's like purple, so it's like my favorite color. They was like, get the black. I was like, no. And I tried her with the arousal balm unwind. And
you had a good time.
you know how we was talking earlier, just to go around was just not on the clitoris. Well, she was like all over. She was all over the vulva. And I let her touch the clitoris a little bit because see, I need a powerful toy personally, but she's powerful enough that she gets me off. And I just love it her. Like I love her. And she can massage me at the same time too. So the sex kitten, and she falls in actually the $1 frame. So and you could take her and put her in your purse because they really won't know what it is. When you stick her in your purse and you get on the plane, go in the bathroom real quick. They done stressed you out in the plane. And yeah.
Not in
So
the plane. Hold on now. So I have it in the box. I just want to show y'all. I have it because I got a couple of these things, just casually laying around. But I wanted to make sure y'all saw the box too because it's also a very sexy packaging, the sex kitten. And I know that doesn't seem like much to some people, but like the type of things that we do with packaging over here really make these products really stand out. And when I just talk about like the packaging in the box, that like the way the box is designed, and some of them are just jet black, but like even down to like the housing of the packaging that the toys go into.
yeah,
Like This is really, really easy
Right.
to store. So what you said, Noni, hit it on the
Oh, but
nose.
wait, I forgot to say one more thing too. She's body safe silicone. And please make sure you use a really good lube, not a silicone lube if you are a hybrid, like the one that I showed earlier. So you could, we talk about how it looks. I'm just saying, we want to make sure, she is
She kind
lubed
of
up.
matched my lips.
So, yeah, she do match your lips. You want to make sure
I
she
get
you
my,
you
that's
you
my
lube her up really well.
sign that
You know.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I got one open already, y'all. This is You know what you said
Oh,
though, Nomi, that I would love to bring to the top for them really quick though. You mentioned the top of it, the way it's shaped, and that it's like how you mentioned the lips. It curves so perfectly around those vaginal lips. So you that right there, like I don't find that any toy surrounds my lips the way it is. And technically it's considered a mini wand for those who don't.
yes, it
We were
is.
gonna say something else, Noni. I'm sorry.
Oh, was saying the body safe silicone, and I was like, make sure you lube her up at the same time, because sometimes people think that just because you're masturbating that you're not supposed to lube up, but you still want to make sure you lube up because it still is friction that's going on your body. So you want to make sure that you're nice and lubed.
Okay, so guys, we have about 15 minutes left on the clock. And I want to make sure, just like we said, you're going to get this guide. So you'll be able to look at these things in more in depth. But we're not going to get to every product. That's okay. Because you have enough information to distinguish that. Now, as I go into the internal section really quickly, I'm not going to spend too long here, but the things that you'll notice in here is that you have some internal recommendations that can be with vibration, some without. The intensity level separates a lot of these, and then what they do. So you see cuddle, you see allure. Both of these are G-spot vibrators, but one is a little bit more medium on the sensation, while one is a little higher with the motor. You'll notice some differences in the patterns, the designs. This one doesn't have a flexible shaft. This one does, right? So these are the things that you're paying attention to as you make a difference. Why would a flexible shaft matter? Well, if I needed to move the toy so that my partner could stimulate my clitoris, it might matter. If I just really prefer a solid and something that's not going to be too flimsy or bendy or whatever, then cuddle might be better. Same goes to the rest. Your Highness is obviously one of the toys from our purple Royal Treatment collection. So Comfort Tech Technology Body Quake Motor. Next Level, my favorite dildo in the whole bedroom candy line, hands down. And I'll tell you, between Next Level and Vibe and D, sizing wise, these don't fall that differently apart, right? Vibe and D is a little bit more solid and less forgiving in movement. Now, I know that mine was still with a sidekick around it because I was in here making content videos with it, but this is Vibe and D, okay? It has an insert right here for the bullet to go in that you see in the picture. And this is, let me get the damn thing off of it. Oh, it's still wet. Y'all heard that? Jump. Okay. All right. Well, hold on. On top of it, I had used this yesterday in a class that I was doing with silk. And the silk lube is still dripping off that bad boy. Okay, this is how you know. I literally threw the toy down after I finished doing what I was the class that I was on. But what I wanted to pay attention to is you see how bendy that is, right? How easy it's flexy, right? Versus not to say that this ain't gonna bend, because it will, but you're gonna work a little harder and you're gonna get a little more resistance. So these are the things that we're thinking about. Okay, I hope that's making sense. But I want to go a step further. I want to go a step further and take it up a notch because we see some options for internal and external. But on our next screen, we got some stuff that's going to touch into multiple stimulations and stuff that might be more focused on the guys. So I really want to just take a moment to highlight for, we talked about a couple of these products already that came up. Stroke of Genius, y'all heard come up. I want to ask Lady D to tell me a little bit about Stroke of Genius really quick. And Toya, I know you a tidal wave thing. So afterwards, if you could give us a little bit of that tidal wave, talk to me, okay?
So I'm just gonna bring it to the stage. One of my friends, Debbie Strogan, this baby right here thrust. First of all, most of our toys and all of our toys, you have to hold the button here and hold it down for about 3 seconds. And then it just starts. Cassie was talking about moving your hips. Well, stroke the genius starts to thrust. And it guess what? It gets right to the G spot, baby. So guess what? If this thing is inside of you, just imagine what it's doing to your G spot. And then we have this here to like stimulate the shaft. Sort of looks like a sea turtle or something that just covers the clitoris. Good God, this is girth here. But yes, you just take it and just stroke it. But bring my sister, bring that tidal wave up, because that's my munching man over there. Those who know, I love that munching tidal wave over there.
Oh, do you? Because the way you stroking that stroke of genius, I couldn't tell. Just kidding. But I see that tidal wave. So as you guys see, Lady D got the thruster. That toy has the ability to thrust on its own, and it got that big, wide clitoral coverage. Now, tell me about tidal wave real quick. Tell you what's tidal wave. Help me choose who's gonna win this battle right now.
Listen, let me explain something to you, okay? When this came out at convention and we got one at convention, and I told Tookie that night, I said, "Oh, I'll have a review for you tomorrow," okay? I was in the hotel room. I was going to tell her how it works, okay? What I love about this one is it's from that Splash collection, so you got to make sure you put that towel down, baby, because it's bound to get wet, okay? Now, listen, it turn on, you're going to think, "Oh my God, something wrong. It ain't doing nothing." No, you got to just turn it on. You see the power button right there. Then when you first turn it on, them little pearls, the pleasure pearls is going to go right back and forth on that G spot. It's going to get the rolling, right? Now, when you hit that bottom button, that's going to make the clit tickler activate, and it's going to make this whole shaft vibrate too. And you got them ridges in there that's going to give you that extra sensitive pleasure, get you all stimulated and stuff. And baby, with 10 settings, and it's waterproof, and it's USB rechargeable with that 1 year warranty. Hey, it's gonna get all them spotty senses a tingling. I love me a combo orgasm. Okay, so you're gonna be coming from your internals and your externals. Yes.
Let them munch on you, Toya. Let them munch on you. Show them pearls again. So they can munch
The
on you.
pearls were pearling. The pearls were pearling. They were
The
pearling.
pearls is pearling.
Munching, that's one of my favorites too. Mm.
Mm.
Yes, yes. And so you know what's so funny? I actually like using the pearls on my clit.
Mm.
I know they're designed to go inside, but I actually like to put it on my clit and let the two pearls come up into it like that with the vibration.
Oh, nibble on it.
Yeah, pro tip, pro tip.
Now I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that.
That's a pro tip because we take our product testing very seriously here at Bedroom Candy. That's I was trying to see if y'all was gonna dethrone the king, but y'all didn't. But I will say this: I'm gonna let y'all know by the end of tonight whether the sultry example of stroke of genius or the excitement that you put behind that tidal wave just now is going to be the winner. Because that's okay. Interesting. All right. Now, real quick, we're going back because we gonna get through this, y'all. We're gonna make sure y'all good. We're gonna go to the for him section real quick. But before I do so, I just want to point out some amazing features about some of the toys you didn't hear about. Okay. Amazing is what it should call it. Okay. Amaze is a part of the Luxe collection, which means that the motors in Amaze is handpicked for it. But what it also has is two powerful motors. There is a motor in the tickler and there is a motor in the shaft. So what that means is that each one is getting their own isolated vibration. That impacts the intensity, which is why the intensity is high. Falls in our double dollar sign section. Okay. We short tidal wave. Tidal wave has that pearl action, and it is in our double dollar sign section as well. Actually, all of them are. So I ain't gonna keep saying that. All right. Now, King mentioned earlier that comfortable pleasure, sexy comfort tech material that is possessed in that product. Well, the tip of the King is a little more plushy and soft than the rest of the shaft of it, which mimics more like a penis. But of the toys you see here, King is the girthiest. So if you're a girth lover, you're gonna want to get you a King. Okay. It's also curved, but it's very bendable and flexible. So it'll curve with you. Okay. We're not talking, we talk about solid, but flexible. Okay. Now, the next one that you heard about was Stroke of Genius. Y'all saw that double thrust in action, also in our double dollar sign range. And lastly, before we move forward, just a quick understanding about that baby called Adventure. Now, Adventure is out of all of these toys, the only that is triple stem. So everyone else is double stem. Adventure is 3-in-1. I call it the solo three-way. All right. You're going to get external clitoral and anal stimulation and internal G-spot stimulation with this toy. And it has 3 powerful motors. So each section has its own motor and 7 different patterns that can happen at the same time. They can all be doing something different or be doing the same thing. And this is also a toy that you can enjoy. This is this one and Stroke Genius is splash proof. The other, Amaze, Tidal Wave, and King, are waterproof. The difference between those is waterproof means you can submerge it in water. Splash proof means you can get water on it, but you shouldn't take it underwater, if that makes sense. Very important distinction because you'll damage the toy if you potentially do it that way. So let us know which one is connecting with you. Now, toys for him, really quick. I want to ask. This 2 toys that I really want to pull out. Okay, actually, I lied 3, but we have 2 sleeves on this deck up here, and then we have a few that are for stimulating internally with the P spot, like we talked about earlier, and then we have a ring here because sometimes guys can use a ring for solo pleasure as well. Now, I want to ask because right now Sidekick happens to be in a few gift sets and on sale, and a few gift sets. Toya, can you talk to me about Sidekick real quick? You on mute, baby. Hold on now. You looking like you're saying something that I don't want to miss now. Hold on.
My apologies. Sidekick is that closed system, right? Unlike that helping hand, it's open-ended. So, you can have a little whoop whoop, little fun play at the top. But this is a closed system, right? So this is gonna give our fellas, their more realistic feel because they're gonna be hitting that back wall. What I love about it is those nice little ripples and bumps they have on the inside, and it's so soft. And then when you add that lube in there, oh my God, you add that lube in there and it'd be making that gawk sound. Oh, I always, whenever I do a showing, like if I'm at a vendor event or whatever, when the fellas walk by, I just be like, stick your fingers in here for me. And they stick and they be like, what's that? And then they be like, I want that. That's how that goes. And like I said, it's so soft and squishy and feels like the real thing.
Okay. Now with Sidekick, I don't really got to talk about it because clearly I know hang out around here. Closed-ended. Our other sleeve, the only difference is that it is open-ended. So choosing a sleeve. Now, a lot of our consultants will share that there are some ways that you can use that open-ended one to change that oral sex experience just a little bit. Noni has one in her hand, and she got that next level over there, my baby over there. And as you see, she just slid that silk down and looked like next level just came on a helping hand. Jesus Christ. Clearly she understands the process we were talking about earlier. But as you see, it's open-ended, so you can actually stimulate from the outside of the penis with your mouth if you'd like to. So that's the difference to know. It goes from a solo toy to a couple's toy easily. Now, real quick.
Oh, and with this, right, you can get on top at the same time and allow it to go up and down at the same time when you are having pleasure with your partner. And you can hop off and play with the tip. And when he's ready to release, and let's say that night you don't want to swallow, baby, all you got to do is go like this. And it's all in here, easy cleanup.
No need with them size kings. Sliding that sleeve on and still climbing on it. That's it. we gotta give that tip with a recommended size. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But that's a really good point. If you do happen to have a size partner though, a larger partner, and you can't take all of them in you, that would be also another hack, right? Helping hand be really a helping hand. Okay. So the other ones that I want you guys, really quick, I know that this is not something that we plan on spending much time in, but I did want to mention that we do have two different plugs here as examples. One is P Curious and one is Thrust. As you can see, one doesn't possess vibration while the other one does. Okay. So with P Curious, you're gonna get something that can plug that area to stimulate the anal area, but no vibration. And with Thrust, you're gonna get something that can stimulate the area. It's a little bit larger in size, but it does contain vibration that adds a different level of sensation. And the exterior portions of the Thrust that you see there will also vibrate against the gooch, the perineum. Okay, so those are some of our toys for him. Now, before we close, I want to go on over here real quick to this last slide. Okay, stick around because it's getting interesting. Now, this last slide has some products that you can share for couples fun and has some products that you can color outside the lines with. And when I say that, that means that these toys have some really interesting features that are different from your average everyday toy. Now, I'm gonna jump over a couple of them because I want you guys to take time to look at it. But note that with our couples fun, we're offering a range of rings that could be really great, and they'll tell you the difference between each ring might come in with the side of the intensity level may be different, or it could be the pricing that's different. And it also is the features. Some of these rings are detachable while some can't detach the bullet, for example. Some of them have a really tight grip around that base, while some of them have a little more flexibility. So that's what you're going to be considering when you're choosing a ring. Lastly, there are two products here that are a little bit of a wild card, and one is just between us because this is made for our LGBT plus community. And we're talking about a strapless strap-on. So it is a couples vibe, but it gets rid of the harness that you can attach on and allows you to use this toy as an extension of yourself. And lastly, here is Make Me Over, discreet in design and looking like a compact mirror. As you can see, looks like a little powder brush. But this is a great couples vibe because, like LaDanya said, it ain't gonna be that easy to throw. Now I have it right here behind me. I'm going to come off screen for 2 seconds and come here to show you. But Make Me Over attaches to your hand. Okay, so when you do whatever you're doing, it stays with you. Okay, wide coverage, so it won't miss a spot. It's really great to use when a partner is penetrating as well. So when you're not doing solo masturbation play, you can use it to stimulate the clit while being penetrated. And that's another fun way. It could be used for massage. It could be used for the testicles, under the testicles. The same way, it could be on your hand while you stroke a shaft. So also another toy. Lastly, right here on that throat. If you're anything like me, and you happen to have a collar at home, whether it's our Vixen collar or our nipple clamps, you can take that collar and slide it through the handle portion of it and use the collar to fasten it against your throat so your hands free on that action. Okay, just a tip, another pro tip. All right, now I'm gonna go to the last slide and we'll close with this, guys. So I know we're at 9 o'clock. We're gonna be yes, Thrust is a unisex toy. Thank you so much, Tanita, for that question. Thrust can be used for a woman for anal pleasure as well. And if you want to get creative with it because it's curved, remember I mentioned that the anal area is curved, is purposely designed to curve with it so that it's not hurting you. Okay. Most people don't enjoy anal pleasure. It's because they're going in straight and hitting that wall, and they're not using their fingers or whatever they're using to curve with the natural anatomy. And so it feels literally like you're hitting the wall because you are. Okay. So look at that curve. That's important. But you can also use that internally on the G spot if you didn't want to use it as an toy and you purchase it for G pleasure. And maybe you want your partner to penetrate the anal. Okay. So maybe your partner's penetrating the anal while that toy goes in, cuffs around the G spot and the outside flat against the clitoris. So you're getting 3 stimulations at one time as well. Okay, pro tips. Let's close it out, ladies. Guys, if you guys can stay with us for like another 6 minutes, 7 minutes, we'll be getting out y'all here. But y'all don't want to miss this last category because we really do want to give it the time it deserves. So just a little bit. Now, coloring outside the lines. I'm going to ask Noni. Please talk to them about Flower Bomb.
It's funny, I have flower bombs, right? But I also wanted to mention how the G spot is a good self-pleasure toy at the same time. But hey, here is our flower bomb. Our flower bomb is more of a medium high. As you could tell, it is in our $2 sign. So look at that. Who want that? That feeling on your clitoris. a, right? Oh wait, I forgot to show you. So uh, who wants the double penetration at the same time? So technically, this your tongue could be licking your clit as the attached bullet, right? It's inside your vagina, get hitting that G spot, going up and down, up and down. Non-preset patterns. It's splash proof. So you don't want to get inside the water. You want to make sure it's splash proof. See that? I'm saying, who has a tongue that can do that? Right? Licking. We got to make sure that we're using some lube. So wait, I'm gonna just, put the lube on top.
I'm gonna be sure to let y'all know when the bedroom candy ASMR audio track drops, where you could just listen to consultants very sexually seduce you talking about toys.
I'm
Because
saying, so now I done put the lube, you know, at that. So it gives you that extra, you know, penetration. And at the same time, you can be getting the clit and just have this, put this under a little bit. It's about having fun, the licking of the rose and the penetration of the vibration. Oh, all right. So I'm gonna leave now.
she made a mess. As soon as she turned around, I don't know if anybody else had that eye open the moment when the silk was on the front. I'm being honest. I just saw a puddle. Okay. Now, we say that flower bomb is a little bit outside the lines because it's another tongue. It's another tongue in the bed. Okay. It's not every day that you can bring another mouth into your bedroom without it being considered cheating. Okay. So that's what we love. We love, love, love about that flower bomb. So aside from that, we also have a couple of other things really quick here that I wanted to point out. One of which is our groove, which, come on, BKBCs, y'all know, y'all in the chat roll, show some love. Groove is our remote control panty vibe. What you want to know about this one is that it does have 3 different pleasure modes. Okay. And so we're talking about the be able to tease, which is where you can press the button to tease them every now and again. We have another function on it that's called groove, which has some preset patterns that you can just groove to. And then we have club right mode. And what club mode is really just allowing you to take surrounding sounds and turn them into vibrations. So it could be your lover's voice, it could be your favorite beat of a song. Either way, whatever sounds are happening become what vibrates your panties. So that's one of them, very discreet. And this is in our triple dollar sign category. Okay, so we know it's a little over $100. Okay, I'll give you guys it's 120, so we ain't going too crazy, right? Now, Love Life Crush also comes in. This one right here is a 2-for-1 bonus. This is also a remote toy, but it is app controlled instead of with a direct remote in your hand. And it is an internal toy, whereas Groove is for the external. Okay. This also doubles as a Kegel fitness app to help you train your pelvic floor for all of the needs you might need to, and at the same time can turn right back into an adult toy that vibrates your G-spot in our app that allows you to control with all of those functions to a playlist. And you can even video call your partner and let them watch while you masturbate. Okay, or they could be the one controlling your solo masturbation session. Now you just mutually masturbated virtually. Lastly, we have 2. Okay. Now, Lady D brought one of them out. And so I'm going to save that one for last. But Bougie is a little outside the lines in that it's a toy that gives you some of that anal stem, but it's bedazzling that booty hole. Okay. Bedazzling that booty. All right. Now, this one is made out of metal. So it's not like your typical body safe silicone toy. Metal, the wonderful thing about metal is that you can play with temperature with it. Okay, so that's what makes it a little bit outside the line. A lot of times in people who practice BDSM and things of that nature, you can take the bougie and actually make it cold first. For example, by sitting it in a refrigerator. You can use a warming lube to now have a warm sensation meet a cold sensation. This also significantly helps with anal play because, as you know, when things are cool, it can add a sensation that makes something a little easier to tolerate by helping to numb the area a little bit as you're using it. So if you get it really cold, it'll actually help condition the body if you're getting more into anal play, but that's not something you're deeply into yet. So that's why it's a little outside the lines. You can also make it a little bit warm. You don't want to make it hot, of course, right? But it is something that could be a heat conductor. So if you're using it without cooling it with a warming lube, the actual plug will actually take on some of that warm sensation as well. Now, lastly is mic drop, right? Okay. Now, Lady Z, could you hold that up for me again right now? Because like I said, I forgot mine is in the bathroom. Okay. Now, y'all see it's large, which makes it a toy that you can handle pretty easily, even though it's big and it looks intimidating to some. That size is so that in a lot of positions, you can hold that mic any which way and it's not going to miss. Can you show them the base of that, or the front of that? I mean, the head of it, I'm sorry, where they can see the top. Now, that's wide coverage. Okay. Can you holding your hand up right beside it? You can see how much coverage you're getting of anything it touches. But this is also a known BDSM tool. Okay, wand. This is the most powerful toy in the entire collection. Okay, so this ain't for the butterfly clitoris. All right, now it can be used to stimulate the other parts of the body. So like Toya, myself, and Lady D and Noni have already said to you guys, there are other parts of the body that derive sensation, and mic drop feels good anywhere you put it, in my opinion. Sometimes I'm just holding it in my hand and it feels nice. You can sit it in between your thighs and it feels nice. It just vibrates through, okay, all through your body. But if you really wanted to be in a torturous mood, you can easily restrain your partner, tie them up, and strap them down, and use that mic for terrific torment all over that body. Until they had no choice but to do that involuntary reaction that we spoke about earlier, which is just give me that juice, baby, and squirt in my face or my mouth, my hands, whatever. Okay, that right there is gonna get the job done. Okay, it's gonna get the job done. Now, like Lady D said, you don't even have to put it directly on the clitoral organ. You don't. You don't. But just like I use those other toys, you can absolutely take mic drop and put it against that throat too for another tantalizing sensation from that side of things. You can hold it during doggy. You can hold it during this. Or you can use our position play products like our suspense swing, our play with me straps to hold the legs back or up in the air while penetrating and using mic drop to still stimulate in the clitoral area, or just using mic drop without the penetration. To each his own. The other thing that makes this a really special toy is that it stores the setting you love. Our memory setting means that whatever setting it was on when you cut it off is exactly where it's going back to when you cut it on. Now, for those of us, that is about the only thing I can't stand about that damn get in touch. Because if I mistakenly cut that bad boy off, I got 20 different vibrations to cycle through to figure out where I left off. And you standing there awkwardly waiting. Because you gotta feel it for at least 3 seconds before you even know which one it is. You know what I mean? Like if it's not a steady setting, you're like, is this one to go so I'm trying to get off. I can't figure out which DJ is on. But that mic drop takes that problem away from me. And for that reason alone, sometimes you want to cut it off real quick, go back to another activity and pick up where you left off. Mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. So we gave you guys lots of toys to look at. And when you get our guidebook, you're going to get something else that's super important. And you're going to understand that there's different types of lubes like we've shared. There's different types of arousal products, but there's one type of product that didn't get mentioned, and that is toy cleaner. Okay? La la la. Those my girls. I ain't even tell them to prepare that. I ain't even tell them to bring it. I did not even say that when we was prepping. We said, grab this, grab that. Nobody said cleaner because I just, as you guys see, there's benefits to being a consultant here at Bedroom Candy. And not only is it in the fact that you get to sell these products and have fun and do parties and do all these fun things and educate like you guys are getting tonight, it's the fact that you can also get high on your own supply with your own discount. All right. Like, as you can tell, we got plenty of toys. Every single thing behind me is full of toys and products. I just want y'all to know that, right? So there isn't a single place I can reach that ain't got a BK logo coming out. Now, what that means is you get to access things that you'll need to repeatedly purchase, like lube, like cleaner, which are the things you need to truly enjoy, not just the toys, but any intimate interaction, right? Getting the right lube can change what it feels like, okay? Getting the right cleaner helps keep your body safe from introducing things that you simply don't want to introduce to your intimate areas. They are designed to remove bad bacteria, but not have ingredients to disrupt the good bacteria, especially for our vulva owners who need to maintain a healthy amount of good bacteria for your vagina and your vulva to be the well-oiled, self-cleaning oven that it is. Okay. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that. As we're closing, I wanted to take a moment and come back to the co-host on the stage because first of all, I had a really great time. And what I loved most about tonight is I love when I talk to people, women especially in different places, and we all have different experiences, but how it all overlaps, right? The amount of times we each said something and either we said it or our facial reactions was like, right? So thank you for taking time, for being open to share some personal things about yourself with the people viewing, for bringing some of your favorites and helping people understand the type of things to think about when they're choosing their toys, because we don't want to send you out of this merry month of masturbation without everything you need to get the job done. Okay. This may be the month of May, but masturbation is a holiday all year round here at Bedroom Candy 365 and on a leap year too, baby. And a leap year too. All right. So thank you so much, guys. Before you guys head on out, I have one final thing that I want to ask you. And that question is, out of all the toys and things we discussed, out of all the things you shared you didn't know before being a consultant or whatever the case is, can you just tell everyone here what is your favorite thing about being a Bedroom Candy consultant?
I go first. So I know she told y'all I'm Nurse WAP, right? So I didn't name myself that. My BK family gave me that name because my slogan is WAP or not, you need a drop. And it's so important because we know we self lubricate, right? But we want that slip and slide guide to keep our bodies safe. So I love being able to go out and to teach the masses about how to use lubricant, why you need lubricant, and just a little dab of do you know what I'm saying? And just like y'all talked about so many lubricants, the flavors, the silk, the sleek, the unwind. That's what I love. And especially when I was 18, my first thing I bought was vibrator for me and all of my friends. I've been doing this masturbation thing for a long time, okay? So I always promote self-care, self-help, self-masturbation. I love it. That's why I love being a consultant.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, nurse. Wow, I love that slogan. That was dope. That was dope. Again, put it on a shirt and sell it before I do. My name is Cash a Check Johnson, for a reason. Cash check, okay? And don't forget that last word goes with the first two. Lady D.
So with me, the best thing, like Toya said, is about education. So I'm Lady D to Bedroom Candy in the streets, and I'm all about bringing joy to the bedroom. So once I drop these jewels on you about what you can do, everything else is gonna come. Once you realize that I'm dropping this education, you might want to come and become a consultant so you can get this discount, or you might just want me to come to bring the fun. So it's a little bit of everything, but the education has allowed me to do what I love to do, and bringing joy to the bedroom is what I do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And Miss Noni, the love ball. Okay, talk to me.
Okay, so there's a few things. One of the things is besides is education, and those that know me know I'm all about self-pleasure. So it's into me I see before I could be intimate with my mate. Plain and simple. So I talk
Oh,
about
repeat that.
masturbation.
Repeat that. Say it again for the people in the back.
Into me I see before I am intimate with my mates or your mates, period. And just so FYI, it is being trademarked, so you cannot take it.
I'm gonna just ask for permission.
You get some permission. You get permission. So I am all about intimacy. I am all about self-pleasure. So when individuals hear me speak, that's what I speak about. That's the number one thing. And also a part of being Bedroom Candy is the leadership, is the family. As Kasha always says and tells everybody, we need our own sorority letters. So being a part of this family has helped me grow even more. And that's why I want to stay, and y'all should come along and be with us. I mean, we having fun over here.
We always
We
have fun.
educating, making money, and having fun.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, guys. I have 1,000,001 things that can run on that list, but y'all heard it all here. And I don't think there's anything that I could add to anything that you guys just said, other than my main and my biggest favorite thing is getting in y'all business. Just kidding. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you had a good one. We're gonna ride this out for the next 3 minutes. I'm gonna give y'all a little sound in the background to encourage you to go home and
Touch it, touch it, touch it. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Touch it, touch it.
thank you for joining us. Shout out to those of y'all on YouTube. I'm telling you.
Touch it. Touch me, nobody's supposed to touch it. Touch it. Cause even if you wanna put my hands on it, when it lasts, you're all here before the world.
Maybe you don't touch it.
It's so handsome, it's rolling them ready to play with it. Ladies be fucking for status. I don't want nobody, baby. I need the baddest. As soon as I see you, I automatically a little more fast than I'm used to. Talk about violence. I've been moving like people one day.
All right, guys. Go in, back in, touch it, touch it, touch it. You gotta have some privacy. Go ahead. Yeah, mix it up, Lady D. Mix it up. That's a new definition of stirring the pot, okay? Okay, Toya says she's gonna go over there and touch it. She might poke it. Like poke it a little bit too. We had to have a little bit of fun. But that is literally the message for tonight. Okay, Tweet came on and said, oops, right? And we want to leave you with the message of go ahead and touch it. Okay, everybody have a phenomenal night.